So about 6 years ago, while fishing at Onion Lake, I hooked into one of my biggest rainbow trout. Actually, it was my biggest rainbow trout ever in my life. I was so excited. That fish grabbed the fly really hard and took an incredibly long run. And I think I was down beyond my backing. And then as soon as it got to that point, it turned around, started heading towards me. So I was trying to gain line as fast as I could. Eventually I caught up to it and I got a good peek at it right in front of me, and I was stunned. That fish was huge. It was like a salmon. But then as soon as it saw me, it started running again, did a circle around the boat to the back of the boat, eventually went underneath the log, and it broke off. My heart was broken. So ever since that time, I was pretty haunted. So we're back at Onion Lake in June 2018. Brought a few friends along and just hoping we can get that big fish again or get something just as big.
As a kid, we spent a lot of time camping up in the Chilcotins and just exploring and doing a lot of kind of camping and fishing trips with my dad when we were really young. So we did a lot then, and then kind of in my teenage, kind of early adult life, I didn't do as much because lake fishing kind of always interfered with other things such as sports and things like that. So not a ton, but the last little while, the last couple weeks, definitely got into it a little bit more. Very excited to fish this lake because I have heard lots about this lake. But lake fishing for me, not a ton of experience, but enough that I'd say I can go out there pretty confidently. But it was really cool to come here to experience something where you can potentially get a very, very large fish.
This lake is quite different to other lakes simply because at one end of the lake it gets down to about 25 feet deep right by the dam. At the other end of the lake it's pretty shallow. It's only about 3 or 4 feet deep, and it's littered by all these weed and log jams and these perfect hiding spots for big fish.
The lake was smaller than I thought. For some reason I thought it was going to be a lot bigger. It's a beautiful lake though. There's a lot of structure to it, and it's really a nice piece of water to fish.
So during a certain part of the day, you get all kinds of insect hatches in the shallow part of the water. So these fish will come in from the deep part of the water into the shallow and start feeding, and you can actually see them on the surface coming up and grabbing flies, grabbing damsels and sedges and all kinds of insects. And that's when things get really exciting. Jeez. When we got here on the first day, right away we saw fish jumping over the lake. So that was pretty exciting because last year when we came here, we actually didn't see many fish on the surface, so that's always a good sign. As soon as we got out on the lake, I could spot 1 or 2 big fish immediately. Oh, it was a big fish. Holy smokes, it wasn't jumping, it just came out to grab something. Oh my gosh, that was a huge fish. That was like a salmon.
It was a little bit slow. We were seeing a lot of fish actually moving around, but we didn't get into too many.
Pretty challenging. We didn't actually have any bites. We were casting a floating line, just stripping leeches.
Lots of leech patterns, small, black, I tried olive. I got a couple smaller fish on pumpkin heads as well. Also tried damsels. There was a point yesterday too where I did actually see damsels coming off.
So we wandered around the shallows for about an hour. Finally, I got into a fish. There's one, there's a better one. There you go. Yeah. For some reason I was in a panic. The fish ran towards me and it tangled up the fly rod. No, it's off. No, still got it. What's going on here? Oh. As soon as it got the line entangled, it went around the boat to the front. Oh no! No! Oh, that was a good fish. We went out again around 8 o'clock at night, and it was getting dark because it was pretty overcast. But that's when the magic started happening. We started seeing a few fish aggressively taking flies on the surface.
Try and get the lot more fish, a lot more bigger fish coming up to the surface that we had seen throughout the day, and they were moving pretty active. There was big fish taking traveling sedges we could see right off the surface in front of us. It was pretty intense kind of happening all around us. Then we got into one zone where they seemed to be kind of concentrated, and we were getting into it and we were seeing fish rising over our flies.
I got into one fairly small fish. It was about 16 inches long. No, it's not tiny, but it's not big either. It's all right. It's on dry, yeah.
At the very end of the night, it was almost like you were just waiting to see the splash. You were just waiting to hear the sound. We were seeing bites pretty actively during the day on the sedges. You could see like a live one come up and see them traveling. And it was pretty active at night. I'd say we could see it, but at the very twilight hour, it was almost like you were waiting to hear or feel the tension on your line as opposed to actually see it come up.
It was pretty dark. We could barely see anything. We actually couldn't see the fly.
Finally, kind of got into a zone where they seemed to be feeding, and we could see some fish rolling and moving, and made a cast with a big, actually it was a more foam kind of hopper pattern, but it just created a very large wake and just started stripping, and then big take on the surface, and this thing just went bonkers.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Oh. Oh shit!
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yep. Yep, that just happened. Came out of the water like, I don't know, a couple, 3-4 times at least. It also got caught under a log for a little bit.
Are you hooked up?
Yeah, might be. Yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay. Ooh, should we... Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me,
But it did come out, which was fortunate. And we ended up landing it on the same side that I hooked it, but that was after it went all the way around. I don't know. Out to sea. Everywhere.
it's not super big.
No, it's not. It's not.
But it's crazy.
It's a little nutso, but.
Yeah. That's how they fight.
Okay, this is my biggest lake rainbow ever.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my gosh,
Wow.
look at it. Oh, and the fly just came out. Look at him. Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay, I'm so excited right now. Oh, beautiful. And that was the biggest trout I've caught in a lake ever. It was beautiful. Really, really fat, beautiful fish. Overall, like, this lake is awesome. We saw some massive fish, especially on the first evening, and even yesterday I saw, just cruising around under the logs, there are some huge fish in here. It's really cool to be able to have big fish taking dry flies in a lake. That's not something that comes very often in these kinds of scenarios, but this is definitely a lake I want to come back to and see if we can get some of those really, really big fish.
Even though I didn't get into any bigger fish this time, feel somewhat defeated, but I'm really looking forward to come back again next year and just keep trying it out. And really, really want that big one. It would be so nice to get that big fish again. If you ever want to find out more information about Onion Lake or Ruddocks Ranch, you can check out their website at ruddocks.com. And as usual, until next time, good luck fishing.